Shalom, Kol Halal, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakaha, Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever, the 144,000, and the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners among the heathen, that look like those heathen. And to the few Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you, I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you another lesson in truth. And this was a video that I caught this morning, and I saw quite a few and saved quite a few that I want to do responses to. But this was the one that came to mind when I decided to sit down and do this lesson tonight. So this is the one out of the many. But I want to open this with Psalms 58 and 3. And it reads, "The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. Their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They are like the deaf adder that stoppeth his ear." So when you hear the truth, when you point it out, they close up their ears. You know how little kids go la 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 when they don't want you to point out where they're wrong, or they don't want to hear you. This is what they're like when the truth comes out. So as you can see, the name of the video, this is from RTD TV. All right. And this brother opened his Thursday morning check-in. You can see the name of the video with scripture, a long scripture. And this guy has no understanding of the scriptures. And he's been told before that he's an Israelite. All right. So, I guess when you're catering to the public and you're making your money off the heathen and everything, you really can't, But if that's the way you make your bread, but it's like, well, why not just leave the Lord out of it? Don't trim your way to seek love. All right. And but anyway, he's been warned, so he'll have no excuse if he doesn't wholly convert, and come into, and embrace who he is and call him the true name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. But all that aside, the name of the video is Record Layoffs and Store Closures. Don't call it a recession, all right? And this was the Thursday morning check-in. And this is far from a recession. This is even a depression. This is a full-on collapse, all right? Continuing on from 2008, it never actually stopped. The retail apocalypse never really stopped all the way through the emic, through that thing. All right, because it was still going then. Gotta remember that was all the way up until the 2019 event. Stores were still closing by the hundreds and thousands. All right, so everything's not okay. So we're gonna listen to this financial report. And you really have to listen in between the lines. All right? You got to listen and then listen to what's being said in between. Because everything is not okay. You can't have everything up, in the stock market and everything doing well at the same time that you got layoffs and store closures. It's impossible. All right? So without any further ado.
And unfortunately, semiconductors is not doing that well for starters, but then again, it's still early. And the financial sector, Visa, MasterCard, American Express is doing pretty well. People are swiping away. Which is a reason why the PPI figures is a little bit up.
Credit card debt is at an all-time high in the history of America. So, of course, the Visa and MasterCard is doing well, but the people are not. All right? Because people are buying things on their credit cards that they normally didn't buy before.
As well as consumer confidence is still up because people are swiping. They're not really using their savings, which have already been depleted somewhat. And of course, the banking sector is under a lot
So, how the people, did you hear this? The savings has been depleted. I'm hoping that I didn't pass up the portion when he talks about how people are dipping into their 401ks. All right? And how is it that this is how you know that this is an unrighteous man? and how he just gets wealthy off of other people's uh, suffering. Because I think it's before you a certain age, if you dip into your 401k, you're penalized, and they take taxes out of it or money out of it and that whole sort of thing. How are they going to take money out of your money that you saved? Think about it. I'm going to start this plan and put this money in it. But if I need my money, you're going to charge me to get my own money. And the people accept this. That is mind blowing. It's mind blowing. It really is. Which brought to mind a scripture. Because that's an unrighteous decree, man. It's actually Second Maccabees. Those in the know already know where I'm going. Second Maccabees 10 and 8. Not Maccabees, Sirach. Tweaking. And it reads, because of unrighteous dealings, this is an unrighteous dealing, injuries and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. All right. So if you can continually swindle people out of their money through unfair tax laws, liens, and hidden contracts, of course you're going to continue to make yourself wealthy while making other people poor. So even the news is reporting is contradicting to fact. All right. Savings are depleted, so they're using the credit cards. All right. And then credit card debt is at an all-time high. Everything is not okay in America. And America's condition is a reflection on everybody that's connected to them. You know, EU and NATO countries.
Stress. So not surprising one bit there. All right. Let's get into it, man. So here's an interesting article here talking about the recession. It seems like the mainstream media, of course, which is in bed with the orchestrator of this entire experience we're having, they will never willingly talk about a recession, because talking about recession shows weakness in the economy and it would drive more fear. Therefore, the so-called stonk rally that we're experiencing, S&P, at continuous highs throughout the last several.
This is why they give you so much bread and circus too, and so much distraction news. And usually distraction news is just full of folly or dragging, the Israelites through the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, dragging their names and their faces through the mud. That's typically what they do. If they're not that, they're drowning you with, they're overwhelming you with sports and entertainment to keep you distracted from the fact that you're in a collapse. This is not a recession. This is not a depression. America is in a collapse.
Several weeks, months perhaps, wouldn't be there. And consumer confidence will be shattered. Businesses, which are already closing, would be more pressed to lay off, which they're already doing. And the narrative of a soft landing would completely fade away. We are already in a recession. How is it that we can't, the rest of the world can't avoid a recession, but the U.S. can? That's how we know they're lying to us, especially with all these fake stats. But here's an interesting headline out of the Trading Review, which was from J.P. Morgan. Says J.P. Morgan predicts a 65% chance for a potential global recession.
Okay, so he did say fake stats. So he was letting you know the stats that he was reading were fake. I missed that the first time. All right. And they have to be with what he just said and everything he said prior to that. Those stats have to be fake. Okay, but let's let him continue.
Said the U.S. Federal Reserve has decided to cut interest rates in June as a majority of economists advocated for it. That's not baked into the cake. JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon urges the Fed to wait past June to provide more time for the central bank. says Diamond predicted a 65% chance for global recession. We're already in a global recession.
Yeah, did I not say it? America's condition is a reflection on all the NATO countries and every country that uses the greenback, which they're all trying to ditch it now, which is going to lead to the ultimate collapse here in America, which is why businesses are shutting down left and right, because America was always using someone else's. Matter of fact, we're in Ecclesiastes. Let's go to 21:8, and it reads, "He that buildeth his house with other men's money is like one that gathereth himself stones for the tomb of his burial." They've gathered up, basically, America is gathered up, stones for its own tomb, for its own, to put its own coffin in.
And that's how you know that with sheer words and headlines, they can get people to believe a fake narrative based upon the fact that everything is still operating smoothly, unless it's happening to you. And what I mean, Main Street is already in a recession. And then when you get stories like this.
So soon, they're going to get rid of all the gig work. And it's not going to, because soon nothing's going to work. You're going to have no train service, no bus service, no plane service. America is on the verge of collapse and shutting down. All right. And it could very well happen this year. There may not be an election. It really looks like it's not going to be, because they definitely don't want Donald Trump to get in there. And if Donald Trump does get in there, all right, it could be problems. World War III will probably kick off instantly. All right. And if he doesn't, you could have civil war and collapse here, and World War III is still going to kick off. All right, because the nations are angry with the whore that rideth upon the beast of Babylon, and America is Babylon.
Dollar Tree misses holiday quarter estimates to shut nearly 1,000 stores.
Ooh.
If people who are already tapped aren't utilizing the ability to go to a Dollar Tree to buy cheap items, and Dollar Tree is coming up short, that lets me know that there's a major disconnect between the retail investor when it comes to the higher chain and the lower chain stores. Because now not only does it say a lot as far as Dollar Tree not meeting their expectations on dollar items, but they're also closing 1,000 stores within the next several months.
Damn.
And that's Dollar Tree as well as the Family Dollar that will be closing. And that's a couple hundred jobs at least. And so here it says firm to close 600 Family Dollars.
That's a couple thousand jobs at least. If 100 stores are closing and the average store has 10 employees, that's quite a few people, man.
Stores in the first half forecast 2024 sales and profit below estimates. Like when you're missing out on dollar items, that's a problem. So this is another indication that Main Street ain't doing too well. And then here's another.
James 5:1. Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered. The rust of them shall be witness against you. Right? The rust of the dollar. No, because the dollar is a debt-based currency, which is backed up by nothing, which is causing other people's economies to collapse. All right, as a result of it. It says, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped up treasures together for the last days. Behold, the hirer and the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which of you kept back by fraud, crieth, and the cries of them that have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth. The whole world is mourning. You kept back the laborers, what they deserve by fraud. All these fraudulent contracts, and this money, this fractional reserve banking, which has backfired. That's why they're trying to go digital. Okay.
Another one, tech layoffs. 89% of IT professionals in the U.S. worry about job loss in 2024 fine study. And so it says as many as 70.
And, tech people make pretty good income. All right. I got two of my childhood friends. They both have been making over six figures for the last 20 something years doing tech job, and all those jobs are in trouble now. AI is taking them over. All right, just for sitting up and tapping and playing on the computer and fixing people's computer systems and hooking all their routers and all their stuff up. All right, all that's going out the window. So all that sitting in the cafe, sitting in the Starbucks, and in the coffee shop, sitting in the Whole Foods eating area, listening to the soft jazz or the nice elevator music and working and chatting, tapping on your computer. That's all about making six figures. All right, all those cushy jobs, all that's about to disappear. All right. He also gives a stat too that 44% of Americans, I don't know if that was in this video or another one, but 44% of Americans could not come up with $1,000 for an emergency. 44%. All right, if they had a $1,000 emergency, they don't have that kind of cash on hand in their checking account. 44%. That's almost half. America is not doing good at all.
2.4% of workers surveyed admitted that they are feeling uneasy. They're feeling uneasy about the impact of AI on their jobs over the next 5 years. And so it says in the first 2 months of 2024, we have seen 193 companies laying off nearly 50,000 of.
So you hear that? You think it's going to take 5 years?
Their staff. Just within the first 2 months. And we're not even into the year yet. And so this is an indication of what's really happening in Main Street. Here's another one. Layoffs rise to the highest for any February since 2009, Challenger says.
Wow.
Anytime. It says with a series of high profile layoff waves.
And I lost probably half my clients after 2008. All right, and I had some high rollers, including one of the people he mentioned in this video. All right. All right, brand new into the truth. And I thought that the end was but here we are. But call Allah Yahweh I was shy. I still praise him anyway. But it really looked that way to me because I saw all these shutdowns happening in Chicago, all these fancy stores and restaurants, which have been forever, and all those wealthy clients that I had just gone. All right? Gone.
Tech leads the way this year in cuts with 28,218 within 2 months. Though the number has fallen 55% from the same
So we're going to go back. Let's hear that
ago.
again about the tech jobs. Let's just go back a little bit.
89% of IT professionals in the U.S. worried about job loss in 2024, Fine study. And so it says as many as 72.4% of workers surveyed admitted that they are feeling uneasy. They're feeling uneasy about the impact of AI on their jobs over the next 5 years. And so it says in the first 2 months of 2024, we have seen 193 companies laying off nearly 50,000 of their staff.
Damn.
Just within the first 2 months. And we're not even into the year yet.
So there's a lot of six-figure people who all of a sudden don't have that money coming in and they're accustomed to that lifestyle. So imagine there, and it's not looking good for them because AI keeps increasing. And that's what Esau Edom does. If you really pay attention to them, they always create technology that destroys everything around it. All right. You watch I remember when all the Walmarts were going in, in the late 90s and in the early 2000s. All right. And especially I was out in California. All right. I didn't come back to Chicago until 95. So, and all those little towns all throughout California, the Walmarts destroyed them because all the mom and pop shops They couldn't keep up with it. If you had you had your little flower shop, you had your farm, your little farm equipment as far as feed and all that stuff. If you had your the hardware, if you had a camera shop, all these things began to just fold because there was always a Walmart that was on the outskirts of town, which was usually in between two or three different towns, that killed all the small businesses within those small towns. All right. So this man constantly sets up technology that destroys the job market and makes people be out of work, and then, and have to depend on the system. And that's what they want. All right. This is 2 Ezra 6 and 24. And 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, shall be suddenly afraid. And at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. And the springs and the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. All right. Whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee shall escape and see my salvation and the end of your world. So we're at the end of the world. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of he that beginneth. I mean, of the new one. All right. Matter of fact, I'll just read it. It's in this very chapter. But what's going to happen is, as everything begins to shut down, people are going to turn on one another, politically, racially, socially, all of that. All those things are on the table and are about to happen. All right. And why? Because we're at the end of Esau Edom, who is the so-called white man. His world is about to fold. The truth is coming out about how all the people in the Bible look like the man on the screen, and not like all the Renaissance art that's been forced down your throat your entire life. Okay, all the evidence is all coming out, and and the Hebrew Israelites have been telling you this on the highways and byways, forever, and on the internet since 2007. All right. But this is 2 Ezra 6 and 6. And it says, Then did I consider these things, and they were all made through me alone, and through none other, and by me also shall they be ended, and by none other. Then answered I and said, What shall be the parting asunder of times, or when shall be the end of the first, and the beginning of it that followeth? All right. And he said unto me, From Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. All right. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All right. So, so basically, in a nutshell, when John had the vision of the New Jerusalem coming down, that was the Jacobites, with their new government, the 144,000, Revelation 7. All right. All the and all the thrones, your nations have been cast down. When the Most High came, Daniel 7 and 9, the 7th chapter, right? When all the thrones were cast down, okay, and then the Lord came down to rule in the kingdom of earth among men and set up the 144,000, all right, with King David and the rest of the 12 being the head of that, and then the rest of the 144,000, which is 12,000 men, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, from the real tribes of Israel, not the J-ish, not them. All right. That was a reason why Putin kept doing all those videos showing you those Christian relics from the Dark Ages, which predate the fabrications that the world has been fed from the Renaissance. Call Halal Yahweh Ba'Shem Hawashai Bahasham Rakak Kwam Yasharala Shalom.